Morning, gang. Yes, it's Saturday the 31st of May 2014. Chris Reardon with today's United Kingdom Talk, a live weekly chat show. Well, I hear a couple from you, a few phone calls perhaps today. You're going to force yourself to push the buttons. There's a Skype if you want to join in by Skype at any time and you're with us for the live show. It's just coming up to a minute past 12. All right, then you can join in by Skype. The Skype username is all one word, Chris Reardon, CHRISREARDON. All right, Chris Reardon is the Skype username. Terry H is with us this morning. Where have you been, Terry? Have you been working hard, have you? You haven't been for a couple of weeks. I had noticed your little light didn't come on in front of me. You know I've got lights for everyone here. Oh, yes. Yes, everyone's got a little light in front of them, and your one hasn't been on for a couple of weeks, so I have been concerned where you are. I was actually worried that you hadn't returned to your own house, to be honest. Because you are getting a little bit of a reputation, Terry, among a certain scene up in Leeds. You know, you don't often go home, only to be found crawling home, bleary-eyed, you know, at sort of, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning sometimes, presumably when you've been kicked out of somewhere else. Is that right, Terry? Oh, dear me. You know, and I had such high hopes for you. I really did. Morning, Terry. So that's the Skype username. All one word, Chris Reardon, CHRISREARDON. And also there's a phone-in number as well. It's a local London phone number, 020 8133 6358. 020 8133 6358. Just to let you know, if I'm on a call, I can't take your call. All right, so at the moment, not on a call. You could ring in now. I'd answer. All right, if I'm on a call at the time or in full flow, because you know what I'm like sometimes, I start chatting away and I go in full flow and I'm not looking at the screen where the calls come out, I can miss you. So just keep trying, all right? Once it starts ringing, hold on there, baby, and we'll get to you. Now, if you're watching a recording of the show, and you're watching or listening to this at a time other than 3 minutes past 12 on Saturday the 31st of May 2014, you are indeed listening to or watching a recording. Doesn't mean you can't join in because I read the emails out on the next show. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Coming up in the show a little bit later on, I have a bit of an idea for Barry Manilow fans. This idea dropped into my head just a few moments ago when Wendy... Oh, what's that noise going on over there? Let me just turn that off. When Wendy suddenly announced that once again she wasn't sure what day it is. Didn't you, Wendy? Oh, dear me. I mean, have you had that test at the doctor's for Alzheimer's? Have you? I mean, hello, Wendy. Are you Chris? My name's Chris. Yeah, you're with us almost every day. Chris, CHRIS. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Oh God, isn't it hopeless, really? Do try and stay with us, Wendy. There are people that can help you. She honestly doesn't know what day it is most of the time. Poor Wendy, dear. Are you speaking from a home for the bemused? Are you there? Are you still with us, Wendy? Terry H says, have a good show. He said, the cheek. Yes, I've been busy for a couple of Saturdays. Well, don't we know it? You know, at least if you're not going to turn up for the show, you could drop us a little message, a message of apology. You know, like your parents used to do. If you were going to be late for school or off sick, they'd send in a note. And really, if you're a regular listener or viewer to the show, you need to be sending in a little note now and again, apologising for your sickness and giving a good reason, okay? It's no use saying, sorry, I'm not being there, Terry. It's got to be something like, sorry, I'm not there today, but I've had to go to the clinic to have another test. Something like that, Terry. There has to be a reasonably good excuse and possibly evidence to prove that. Like an appointment slip. You could scan that and send that through. But don't make one up on the internet. Because there's all these sort of forms and certificates you can print out now for nothing. I will know because, you know, make sure the phone number at the top for your doctor, clinic, friend, whatever, works. Because I won't just look at the, you know, look at the appointment card. I will ring and check. All right? Don't try and pull a fast one over on me. I will need some sort of proof and a decent excuse why you're not here. Okay? He says, I always watch the recorded show. Dedicated fan. 2000 since 2000. Oh, don't start using those hashtags, dear. Oh, God, why do they do it? Let me tell you how he's written this message. It says, I always watch the recorded show, though. And then it says, hashtag dedicated fan. No, incorrect. It should say, I am a dedicated fan since 2006. What has he put? Hashtag dedicated fan, hashtag 2006. We don't talk like that. This is proper English, dear. You know, all these hashtags and things like that. What a load of old twaddle that lot is. Anyway, Terry, you know, if you can find a... Perhaps, I'll tell you what, I'll let you off for the last couple of weeks since I brought in this new rule. If you don't turn up, please send a letter of apology and some sort of proof of whatever you were doing. Maybe, you know, I don't mind. If you've got children, you're a little bit older and you're taking your children out for the weekend or something else, that's fine. But you must send photos in with the whole family, say, against some sort of sign that might say if you went to, I don't know, Skegness. Oh, God, God help you if you ever go there. Have you been to Skegness? What a dump. Oh, my God. My sister loves it. I mean, it's their sort of thing. You know, to be honest. They all traipse up to Skegness. Have you been? Please don't. If you've never been to Skegness... Oh, you've got to go once just to experience it. You've never seen anything like it in your life. But if you was taking your family up there on a Saturday afternoon, because it's a nice day, and I understand that, then you need to take a picture of your family and yourself standing by the sign that says, perhaps, Skegness, holding ice creams. Or bags of chips, you know, because there are endless chip shops and ice cream shops in Skegness. Literally, they are one next to each other. And there's this massive, great fun fair. And dirty old and donkeys. There's donkeys wandering up and down the beach. Sad-looking donkeys and great fat people sitting on them. It's cruel. I'm sorry, it's cruel to have donkeys traipsing up. And have you been on a donkey, Terry? Please don't. Not with your weight, darling. Please don't sit on a donkey. Poor little things. Not even proper horses. You know, you're going to do something like that, at least use a proper horse, not a little donkey. God's sake. So cruel, walking up and down there like that. Good morning to Daniel, who's joining us from Camberley this morning. Morning, Daniel. And Wendy says, what are you wearing? Oh, just a grey T-shirt. Don't you like this? It's only a grey T-shirt. What are you wearing? Looks like you've been decorating. Does it look like a decoration? It's a Ralph Lauren T-shirt. Look, there's a little horse on the side. It's not mine, actually. Ronny... Dear, do I really want to tell you this? Unfortunately, they don't fit Ronny anymore. I'm very, very pleased to be able to tell you that. They don't fit, and because of my weight loss, they now fit me. And then they don't just fit me, they're loose. Look, look, they're loose. Look at all this. Look, look, it's loose. Loose. So Ronny said, do you want these T-shirts? Yeah, and I never look at I never look a gift house in a gift. I never look. Shut up. I never look a gift donkey in the face. Never ever look a gift donkey in the face. I accept that unless it's tickets to go to Skegness or a Justin Bieber concert. I wouldn't accept those. Nothing like that. Talking to concerts, going to tell you a little bit more. I've got an idea for Barry Manilow fans. If you're a Barry Manilow fan, I've got an idea for you a little bit later, okay? I think you're going to like it. I do think you're going to like my idea, right? Yes, Wendy says, what are you wearing? Looks like you've been decorating. I do not do decorating, Wendy. I hate it. I hate it. I would do it if I liked it. I absolutely hate decorating. I pick up I look at perhaps a wall, a small wall. I tell you what, downstairs I've got like a little bit where you come into my house, and there's a very small ceiling, this bit that you walk in. It's, I suppose, no more than 5 foot by 4 foot. Tiny ceiling. You know, sort of a rectangular. And years ago, I got a pot of paint and a brush, and I started doing it, and I thought, oh God. And I looked, I did a little bit, and I thought, I can't do it, don't want to do it, don't want to do it. Put the paint down, got someone to do it. I hate decorating. My sister loves it. She loves it. She's just been decorating one of the rooms in her house. It's a bit of a sad story, really. I'll tell you about that a little bit. I'll tell you about it now. No, because my sister, her mother-in-law has just died a couple of days ago. She's been ill for quite some time. Problems with her lungs and infections in the lungs and bronchitis. She smoked for many, many years. So she died on Thursday, and everyone's a little bit sad up in Woodall Spa at the moment. And she just finished, because the lady's name was Doreen, so it's my sister's mother-in-law. Doesn't make her my mother-in-law, does it? No, because I'm not. Of course, I'm not married. No. And she decorated the room, and Doreen had been in hospital, and she'd come back out again, and she'd literally been in there, I think, 1 or 2 nights, and then they took her back to the hospital again. With lung infections, and it just got worse and worse, and they lost her on Thursday. So everyone's a little bit sad up north at the moment, and I'm a little bit sad as well, of course, but they're much closer to her, do you know what I mean? So so that's all to be dealt with at the moment. So my sister does like the decorating. She really does. She did my nephew's room, Jimmy, and she did the wallpaper and all that business. I hate it. I absolutely hate decorating. So this would not be a decorating t-shirt, Wendy. Isn't that amazing how I can get so much out of one sentence there? You know, you said, have you got a decorating t-shirt on? I've managed to get 10 minutes worth of chat out of that. You could dress up for us, dear. Love the purple background. Yeah, we've got a new purple background as well. I hope you like that. Do you want to know how much that cost me? £12. £12. If you ever want to buy any material, ladies, you need to go on eBay. Just type in coloured material. Okay, it's not the thickest material I've ever seen, but it's good enough for putting behind me there. I don't know if you can make a dress out of it or something like that. Anyone any good with a sewing machine and a needle and thread? No, just me then, is it? No, I don't do sewing. So there we are, nice new purple background there. Let's say hello to a few other people this morning. Daniel says, I'd like to see you having a go on a donkey. I beg your pardon? Daniel, this is a family show. That's a very strange thing to come out with. Having a go on a donkey. People are put in prison for that sort of thing, you know. There was a man with a goat once. I'm not saying any more about that subject, please. Have a go at a donkey? What sort of person do you think I am? He says, you look a mess today. Please make more of an effort. What do you mean I look a mess? It's just a t-shirt. Good. Look a mess. I've got a nice plant there and teddy bears and things behind me. Mess. Right, have we done all our little messages? And Terry H says, haven't ridden a donkey in years. We stop with this with the donkeys now. We don't want to know about your strange activities, Terry H. We really don't. He says, at my weight, I'm swimming loads now. Yeah, and whales can swim, Terry. Whales swim. They swim and go, and they blow all that water out of their nose, like, and you go, the water comes shooting out of their little nose. What a funny place to have a nose in the top of your head. Whales they've got the nose in the top of their heads, haven't they? What an odd place to have a nose. I mean, what about if it was to rain? Won't it fill up with water? There must be some sort of, I don't know, some sort of trapdoor whales have got in their heads. Well, I mean, you'd know, you're swimming now, aren't you, Terry? He says, but my knees have started hurting lately due to swimming so much. Well, I've never heard of that. Researched on the internet and I think I've got swimmer's knees. Swimmer's knees? Well, that's a new one on me, Terry. I've never heard of that one. Right. So, Manilow fans, Barry Manilow fans. Now, Wendy sent us a little message earlier saying that she'd once again got confused with the days. I think she thought it was Friday. Now, this often happens to Wendy, and I've said to her earlier on in the show, I did say that there are people that can help. You know, a little test down the doctors for the old Alzheimer's disease, something like that. Might be a good idea, Wendy. What you need, I did tell her privately in a message, is a nice Barry Manilow calendar, okay, on every wall in the house. And she liked that idea. But then I got to thinking, we could go one stage further than having a Barry Manilow calendar on every wall on the house. Now, this will require someone who can do inventions. And I don't think it would be that hard for you to do. What we need, Barry Manilow fans across the world, is a Barry Manilow alarm clock. You're liking the sound of that, aren't you? It would be in the form of some sort of, like, a bit like one of those alarm clock radios, except it's a Barry Manilow alarm radio. So, you would set your alarm. You could have, I would recommend that it had sort of 20 alarms that you could preset the various times of the day. And, for example, I just heard the postman delivering some more letters. I hope there's a little check in there. Has everyone paid their rent this week? Well, I shall have to send the boys round if they're not paying the rent. All the rents have gone up. Oh, we're happy today. All the rents have gone up 25 quid. Come on. Anyway, back to the story. So, I'm thinking you would have sort of an alarm clock with 20 presets. And out of those 20, for example, at 8 o'clock, you could wake up. Now, you'd want something fast to wake up to, like a Copacabana. Or one of my personal favourite fast one of his is It's a Miracle. It's a miracle, it's a miracle. I do that one at karaoke. It's a Miracle. Barry Manilow, that's a good one to wake up with. And maybe at the other end of the day, sort of, I don't know what time you go to bed, 11, 12, 1, 2, or like me, 3 or 4 in the morning, you could have something to drift off with. Sort of even now, although, of course, you know, if you've just split up with someone, then you might cry to sleep. Is that a bad thing? Or you don't want to cry to sleep. If you cry to sleep, I think I've done that a few times. Not in the last 30 years. But you get that crust on your eyelashes, don't you? You know, if you go to sleep and you cry, and you wake up in the morning, oh God, you can't get you think gone blind. And you can't get your eyes open. And you have to pick off the little bits of crystallised tear. You know, probably taking a few eyelashes with you as you try and open your eyes. So that's my idea, a Barry Manilow clock radio. And it would play, or even better, now as well as the clock radio doing that, right? So that's one item. Another thing, a Barry Manilow wall clock, where I've seen these. I've actually got one in the kitchen. I've got a clock in the kitchen that every hour it plays different bird songs. Tweet, 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 tweet. Cuckoo, cuckoo. And that works quite well. Why can't we have a wall clock that on the hour plays a Barry Manilow song? So there's just a couple of ideas for our Barry Manilow fans. What we need now is someone to invent them. Daniel, are you any good at something like this? You do plumbing. Is that anything to do with working clocks? I can't believe Daniel has upset me this morning by answering about the clocks. God, no waking up to Barry at 6 a.m. I would throw myself out of the window. What, you mean to say if Barry woke you up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you throw yourself out of the window because you're so happy that you want to dance in the garden? Is that what you mean, Daniel? I think it might be. So just an idea for the Barry Manilow fans. And I mentioned that because, two reasons. Because Wendy's getting confused with the days, bless her heart. And also, of course, Monday, I went to the Manilow concert at the O2 Arena. And for the first time ever, I drove there. No problem at all. We didn't get traffic or anything. I went round to my Auntie Reenie's because I took my two aunties. I took Auntie Reenie and Auntie Brenda. So I picked them up from Auntie Reenie's. She lives in Kennington. And it was only an half an hour journey there. And it was very easy. We found it very, very easily. Straight into car park 1, parked into the concert, out of the concert. And we left very quickly as well. Because we seemed to have found a secret exit. So I got back in the car in car park 1 after the concert. And there was a big queue of cars trying to get out. And on the right-hand side, just opposite really, our little our parking space, I noticed a couple of other cars went out. And I said to my aunt, I wonder where they're going. So I got to that, and there were two blokes there, you know. There was a young bloke and an older bloke. So we went to the young bloke, strangely enough. And I says, is this an exit? He said, yes. Have you got your card? I said, yeah, there you go, mate. He said, right, off you go. He said, and he said to me, he looked at me and he said, did Barry Manilow serenade you? So I says to him, no, I'm afraid he didn't. But I said, you can if you want to. And I drove off. Didn't know where to look, did he? So a wonderful concert was had by all. The only thing is my two aunts didn't get up. Now, admittedly, one's over 80 and the other's late 70s. But when you go to a Manilow concert at the O2, everyone stands up and dances. And you stand up after every song and you clap loudly in the air and whistle. The only thing is I can't whistle. Look. Doesn't work. But my aunts never got up. Not once. I started, to be honest, a couple of people came up to me and says, are they with you? And I had to pretend I didn't know them. You know, you can't go to a Barry concert and not get up. So that was my wonderful Monday at the Manilow concert. He's gone back home now to LA, where he lives. In something Springs, isn't it? Is that where he lives? Something Springs, I can't remember. Good morning to Mike. Good morning, Mike, who's in Brighton, I think it's Brighton, who says, Barry Manilow alarm clock. Let's hang on to what you've got. Are you being rude? Stop being rude, Mike. You can hang on if you want. Daniel says, sorry, I would throw the alarm clock out the window so Barry can dance in the garden. And you would, what? So you would throw the alarm clock out the window, presumably made of rubber or something like that, so it doesn't break. So it would play in the garden so that when you jump out the window as well, you can dance along to it. Is that what you mean, Daniel? Everyone's confusing me today. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Don't forget, you can join in on the phone today, boys and girls. You can call in. Our live way of communicating is by Skype, all one word, Chris Reardon, CHRISREARDON, all one word, Chris Reardon, or by phone, 020 8133 6358, 020 8133 6358. If you're a BA flyer, you like flying on British Airways, they have a bit of a sale on at the moment, okay? But you need to book quickly. It finishes on the 4th of June, so just a couple of days, 4 days to do that, okay? The 4th of June is when the BA sale finishes. Get your bookings in quickly. And I intend to book, and I'm not sure what to do. I would like to go to Israel. Now, usually, if I'm going on a holiday, I'll go in Thomas Cook. Number 1 choice, Thomas Cook. Number 2 choice, first choice. And I'll go in there and say, hello, I want to go here. Please sort it out. And they are, because I can't be mucking about on the internet. I get very, very confused on the internet. Although, admittedly, the BA site is very easy to use. You kind of click flights and holidays and you type it in and it comes up with a price and you pay all card and it's all nicely done. Quite easy to do that. But generally, I like to go into Thomas Cook. Now, I've already been into Thomas Cook once and they told me they didn't do Israel. There was no brochures or anything like that. And I've now looked on the First Choice website. And they too don't seem to do Israel. So I might have to do that on the internet if I want to go there. What do I want to do in Israel? I want to do the holy things. I would like to go to Bethlehem, Jerusalem, the Dead Sea. What else? And what are those hills? The Mount of Olives and all that business. I'd like to do the holy things. Also, and have a little look around Tel Aviv. I don't know what what's the shopping like in Israel? Is there much to buy there? Is it cheap? I will need shekels. I haven't had shekels before. I like that word, don't you? Shekels. I will need shekels. Has anyone been to Israel before? If so, I'd like to hear from you. Email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. What did you do there? What is there to do? Do you go on helicopter tours and things like that? I want to know. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. So it's either Israel or it's back to Australia to see my family there. But at the moment, the long journey of that is putting me off. It is a long time on a long time on that plane. Although I would like to fly on the British Airways A380. I haven't yet experienced the A380. I know one of our regular people, Ronan, has been on the A380, I think, haven't you? Or Las Vegas. And take... If it's Las Vegas, I'll be taking my nephew there. So I'm not... Oh, I've got itchy nose. I'm not quite sure where to go at the moment. Haven't decided. But as I say, BA have a sale at the moment. Daniel in Camberley has been to Tunisia. And he says, what a dump. Is it really? Why is it a dump, Daniel? We want to know why. Why is Tunisia a dump? I know there's a couple of places people that have been to I've spoken to over the years, and they say they smell horrible. My niece went to Egypt. She said, you get off that, it's just a horrible smell in Egypt. Smelly. We don't like smells, dear. One of the nicest places, smell-wise, that I've ever been was an island called Mystique. Now, this is in the Caribbean, and I think 1997, 98, 99... I went with a friend of mine at the time called Steve, and we went to Barbados. Whoa, we're going to Barbados. Oh yeah, whoa, in the sunny Caribbean Sea. Lovely place, and it's beautiful. You get off the plane and you can just smell flowers. The beautiful, beautiful smell in the island of Mystique. But you're not allowed to live there unless you have a job on the island or you're filthy, stinky rich. Princess Margaret, I think she had a place on there. Very, very rich people have got places on there. Yeah, not for the likes of me or you, I'm afraid. Not even if I increase all my rents. So that's a nice smelling place. But Daniel says he didn't like Tunisia because that was a bit of a dump. But if you've been to Israel, I'd like to hear from you. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. Rushing through these little bits and pieces here. What else have we got? Oh, before I came on this morning, I've already been out for 3 hours, you know. I got up at 9 o'clock this morning. That's because I had a night off last night. I had a very, very nice night off last night. And also, Ronny wasn't doing anything like it. I had a lovely day yesterday. Really, really nice. I made one of my world famous vegetarian chili con carnes. Oh yes, I've got a great big slow cooker. So what I do is I put it all on when I get back from work on a Thursday, I put it all on and I go to bed, and then it's about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it all goes in the slow cooker. I must admit, I now cheat with the onions, because you can now buy. Do you know, talking about that now, I want some now, some of my vegetarian chili con carne. I put it all in a slow cooker. I buy packets of onions, because it's easier than chopping those blooming things up in it and getting crying eyes on it. Oh, those crying eyes. Well, that was lion eyes. Oh, and oh, yeah, we're going to have a call in a minute as well. Millie's holding on the line. Millie, I'll be with you in a minute. I'm just finishing off this little bit. So I made vegetarian chili con carne. And that goes in the slow cooker, and that cooks about 9 hours actually. Everything's fresh, no powders. I put 4 red chilies in. 4! But I mean, it is a big pot. 4 red chilies in, and I put an entire bulb of garlic in, because I do like garlic. Oh, that taste. People say, you know, oh, you'll have to be careful that no one kisses you. Who wants to kiss me? No one wants to kiss me, so that's it. I'll eat as much garlic as I want. I might start eating garlic bowls like apples. And then Ronny came round in the afternoon, and we had some. But it was a bit bland. I hadn't put enough of the, you know, the tubes of tomato paste. I usually put a couple of those in. I'd only put 1 in, and it tasted bland. So we ate what we had, and then I switched the slow cooker back on for a couple of hours and put in another 3 tubes of tomato paste. I do like it to taste tomatoey, don't you? So we had that. We had quite a lot to eat yesterday. And then we had some ice cream, because that's on special offer at the moment in Waitrose. Cart door ice cream, or whatever it's called. £2 each. Only £2. So we had about, I must admit, we had about half each of those. Oh, what's that you want? Hang on a minute. Yes?
I can't find the link to the show, dear.
Well, it's on the top of the Facebook. Yes? Of course it always takes you to the YouTube page, doesn't it? Oh, just a minute. Are you doing something wrong? One moment, please. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I don't know. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got a... Ah. Are you signed in as me, by any chance? Right, hang on then. Let's just sign out of this then. I don't know how... yes. Just a minute. I'll work this out for you. Now, I think I have to... Well, I've got to sign... I think I've got to sign out to be able to do it myself. Hang on a minute. Where's sign out? Where's sign out? Oh, there's sign out. 1 minute. Right, so sign out of that. Okay, please wait. Yes, they all know it's you. This is Ronny, and he's ever so... It's there. It's there. It's actually there. What you got to... You'll see a big picture of me, and you've got to click on that picture, and it will start playing. What, is it a big picture of me sitting in front of a purple thing with my... No, you're doing something wrong. Are you on the Facebook now? Right, hang on. Go on your wall. Right? See that little link there? God, you'd think your best friend would be able to do it, wouldn't you? Sorry, dear? Can you see that? Right. Are you clicking on me or the link? Oh, it shouldn't. It's a matter. Shouldn't matter. you're doing it wrong. How can you be doing it wrong? No, I'm going to sort this out. I don't understand why you must be signed in as me then. You've got to be signed in as me because I've used your laptop before, haven't I, to sign in and do things. Right, hang on. I will give you the direct link, seeing as you can't bloody well work that one. Right, here is the direct link. Get that. Or just click it. Can you see that direct link now? Oh, well done. God's sake. How can someone... Oh, anyway, where were we now? Yeah, I was on the subject of the tomato paste. So we had the vegetarian tin. I put a load of tomato paste back in it, and then I left it back on for a couple of hours. And then we went to the garden centre. He had a temporary car to take back because his one was being fixed. I'll be with you shortly, Millie. All right, my darling. So we took that in, and while we were up there, I said, well, let's go to B&Q. They've usually got quite a good selection of gardeners, fairly well looked after. So we went there. And went out the back, and we're just pottering around looking at that. And this old boy walked past, was kind of bent over, was one of the staff. And I know B&Q do employ elderly staff. Generally, they're very good and they're very helpful. And I said to this old boy, is this your section out here, mate? And he looked round, he said, yeah, and then scuttled off again. I thought, you miserable old bastard. I thought to myself. And then so we picked up a couple of items, or Ronny picked a couple of items. I didn't want to buy anything in there after that. Do you know what I mean? I'm a bit funny like that. If you give me crap service, I won't buy anything from you. I really won't. Miserable old git. Anyway, so we went inside. Ronny had a couple of bits, and we went to the till. And there was another bloke that we asked someone, so another elderly man in there. We asked someone to, and he was the same. He was the same. Right, miserable old git. So we didn't buy anything in there. I think he bought a couple of plants. I didn't buy anything. I'm not spending my money in there. And from there, we went to Sainsbury's home base. And we went to the garden section out there, and they had a better selection of plants, it has to be said. And we spoke to a couple of people in there. Oh, what a difference. A complete difference. And there was this young boy on the till. So Ronny rushed over to that. Oh, honestly, it was like, it made a beeline for this boy on the till. Terrible he is. God's sake. He rushed over, knocking people flying to get to this boy on the till. And he had a lady with him, so I said, this is your first day? He said, oh, yes, mate. So he was very, very nice and helpful. Very nice and helpful. And then he did that whole thing of, trying to strike up a conversation because they've told him to. And I can just tell when someone tries to talk to you because they want to, and someone tries to talk to you because they've been told to do that. There is you can't disguise that from me. I know, but it will be said as the conversation went on. He actually got into the conversation, so he was nice. And the service was so much better, so we did that. And then we came home. I bought a lovely blue hydrangea, which I planted this morning. That's what I said to you. I've been busy this morning. I've already this morning planted my hydrangea, dug up a little bit of my lawn out the back and reseeded. I like that word. Seed. Reseed. I like that word. Seed me. So I like that. So I done the seeds and patted it down a little bit and watered that out the back there. And then I think I had a little bit of a sleep in the afternoon. And then got up. I got quite late, actually, about 9 o'clock. And I had a little bit more of my chili with the extra tomato paste. And that tasted okay now. So I had some of that. And then when I went up Ronnie's and we watched a couple of films. One was a film that I've wanted to watch for a long time now. Life of Pi. Which is about this boy and a tiger on a boat. I'm not quite sure what I expected. I just thought there'd be a lot more animals and a lot more jungle and all that, but it wasn't. It was just the boy on the boat, because I didn't really read the synopsis. I wasn't disappointed, but it was completely different to what I thought it would be. And it's still a really good film. Please go and watch it. Lovely film about a boy and his lion. It's sad at that tiger. I beg your pardon. It's a tiger. It's sad at the end because the tiger goes off and never to be seen again. And I just thought at some point the boy, who had now become a man, would go back to that jungle on the island and find the tiger, and they'd all be friends again. But that didn't happen. A bit disappointed. And then we watched this other film, which was a science fiction film about an Earth, and Will Smith was in it, and I think it was Will Smith's son, because they did look very alike, and another lady in there who, they were all black, okay, another lady in there who, I can't remember what house she's been in, but they were all very, very good, and I can't remember the name of the film, something to do with Earth, and that was very good as well. And this spaceship goes, everyone leaves Earth or has left Earth and has gone back. They go back, they have to go, they're forced to land there again. And everything on Earth has become kind of bred or has evolved to not like humans. And the little boy is rescued by this big bird. Anyone know what that film's good? Good film to watch. So it was very nice. And while I was at Ronnie's, he forced a bar of chocolate into my mouth. Not a whole bar. It was about 2 lines, I think. 2 lines of chocolate in the mouth. Forced them into my mouth, which I was disgusted about. Disgusted. Very nice, though, dear. Very nice. Okay, so that was my day yesterday. Let's go to the phones. Hello, Millie. What lovely story have you got to tell for us today, my darling?
Hi. Hi, how you doing?
Hello, Millie. I'm very well, thank you.
Good. First of all, I just want to pass on my condolences to your sister Sharon and her lovely family. I know that they've experienced a death in the family.
Yes.
Second, this is. You might want to have Tracy mind her ears, because I have a little surprise.
Oh, Tracy won't be with us. Don't worry about that.
Well, I have little Emily's baby gift sorted.
Yes.
And what I'm doing is I'm going to be giving her a little Raggedy Ann doll that belonged to me when I was little.
Right, yes.
I'm passing it on to little Emily.
Right.
So she will now get to play with that.
Okay.
And hopefully she'll enjoy playing with the doll as much as I did when I was little.
Yeah.
Raggedy Ann is it's unique to the USA. If you Google it, you'll find out all about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm excited about that. Mom's sending it back to me from Seattle, and then once it gets to me, I will then send it off to Tracy. So, and my mom sends her love, by the way.
Good.
She's doing well. She's about ready to come to Minnesota, actually.
Oh, is she coming to see you?
You know how in the summer we spend a lot of time at the cottage?
Yes.
It's getting to be that time of year now.
Right.
Where she leaves the house in Seattle, because my sister and my mom switch places about every 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months out of the year, my sister stays at the cottage when my mom and I aren't there. And then the other 6 months, she stays at the house in Seattle, and then Mom stays at the cottage.
Right, yes.
So that's going to happen. She's planning on getting there about, she says the 20th.
20th,
and I will be there for my birthday on the 24th.
Right.
So, and other than that, I've been doing really well. It's finally starting to warm up here in Minnesota.
Oh yeah. Well, has it been really, really cold then? Has it?
Yeah, up until about the time I returned from my England trip,
Right.
it still was pretty cold.
Yeah.
But it's finally starting to feel like spring and summer here now.
So because you had the worst winter ever, didn't you?
Well,
You absolutely had the worst winter you've ever had.
oh, well,
You know, even that time when I was in Florida, it was blooming. It wasn't as warm as it normally is.
well, winter is tough on me anyway, Chris, because of my cerebral palsy and
Yes.
the havoc it wreaks. That the cold weather wreaks on my muscles and joints.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This was terrible. I mean, by the time we left to England, I was like, anywhere but Minnesota. Anywhere.
Yeah, as I say, you know, we never really had a winter here. Yeah.
Yeah. But I miss everybody there. I mean, gosh, you should have seen me when I got back. I was miserable between the jet lag and missing all my friends over in the UK.
Right.
I was a wreck.
Oh, you poor old thing, a wreck. Have some more pills, that'll make you happy.
Oh, would you hush? Aren't you mean?
Can we just got a little apology? We lost our live feed a little second ago, and I'll tell you why we lost the live feed, shall we? I'll tell you why. Because my best mate couldn't find it, so foolishly I signed out of YouTube. Well, of course, if I'm going to sign out of YouTube, the whole thing's going to go off, isn't it? So that's why you got Ronny to blame for that, everyone. Blame Ronny. Thank you.
Wait a minute, Chris. I'm going to help you with this, and this will never happen again. I guarantee you it'll never happen again. From now on, here's what you tell Ronny. You tell Ronny to go to YouTube and type your name in the search bar. It'll come right to you.
Yes.
That's what you do. You tell Ronny to do that, and
To do what?
To go to YouTube.
Yeah.
And type Chris Reardon into the little search bar
Yes.
up top of the page.
Oh, does that work? Does it?
Yeah, that's what I do. Whenever your links don't work, that's what I do.
All right. Well, nice to talk to you today, Millie. You have a lovely day, all right, my darling?
I will. Big hugs.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Millie, all the way from Minnesota. Well, we got your back, then. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's me signing out. It just stopped everything working again, didn't it? Toothbrushes. In between, that's the other thing. On the way home back from the garden centre yesterday, I had to buy some more toothbrushes. Now, I've got one of those Oral-B floss action, bzzz, you know, the bzzz, electric toothbrush things. Usually I buy these on Amazon or something like that because they are cheaper. I thought, well, you know, the one I had was really worn down. You know when it's not working anymore because you just don't think it's brushing your teeth properly. So I bought these Oral-B floss action things. Sainsbury's, I picked them up. I nearly died when I saw the price. £18. £18 for 4 toothbrush heads. What a bloody rip-off. Although, strangely enough, I got to the till in Sainsbury's. I don't usually go to Sainsbury's, but I needed some of these, and I couldn't be bothered to go all the way to Waitrose. Sainsbury's is just at the top of the road. I got to the till, it gave me a little ticket afterwards and said, £10 off your next shop because something would have been cheaper at the shops that it compares its prices with. So you get this little ticket comes out saying £10 off your next shop. I bet it was these. I bet these have been priced wrongly. 18 quid for 4 bloody toothbrush heads. Christ almighty. It's nearly as bad as buying like a really, like a 5-blade razor or something like that, isn't it? You ever buy those? Ah! God, I think I looked at a packet of them once. And it was something ridiculous, like 25 quid or something like that. It's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Anyway, don't forget that email if you want to join in, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Something I came across this week, which I found quite exciting, but I'm not going to buy one myself. If you've got a load of money and you're looking for a new gadget to buy, I have found a camera drone. All right? So it's like, oh, we've got another call. Good morning, voiceover artist. I'll be with you in a second, all right? Just give me a second.
All right.
It's like a helicopter, like not with one turning thing, not with one blade. It's got like 4 blades, one in each corner, all right? 4 blades, and it lifts up, and it's got a camera in it. And you control it with a controller, or I think on an iPhone. And you can see the picture as this camera hovers. I mean, and I think it works up to 400 meters. And it's really good quality. The camera's not jerky at all. It's obviously got some sort of stabilization thing in there. And you get half an hour flying time, which out of the battery, which seems pretty good to me. And then you charge it up again. And you record what this camera is seeing. And if you want to buy a gadget, that's the next thing to do. I thought, oh, I wonder if would that be useful to me? You could see what your neighbours are doing in their garden, couldn't you? You know, just hover over the side of the fence and have a look what they're doing. What a good idea. £750, one of these. Now, that's the good one. When I first saw it, I thought, well, it's going to be £5,000 or £6,000. 750 quid for something like that. I think that's a really good price. There are cheaper ones. But if I was buying something like that, I wouldn't buy the cheaper one. You've got to buy the high quality. Because you buy the cheaper one, you'll be disappointed. £750 for a camera drone. So there you are, boys. If you want a new boy's toy, that's what to buy. Would you like one of those, Mr. Voiceover Artist?
I have a friend who is a rock and roll artist, and he takes one of those on tour with them and flies it above the heads of the people that are lined up waiting to get into the concerts. And they know what it is because they've seen his videos, and they all jump up and down and wave and have a good time.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's a good thing. I think £750, something, so that's $1,300. If you don't know exactly what you're going to use it for, then probably not for me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I'd get some really good shots of the Manilow concert. I wonder what he'd do if he saw that suddenly flying over the stage.
My guess is the security boys would probably blow it out of the air with a blast from a single shotgun. You know,
I think you're right. How are you today?
I'm still recovering from well, you know me, Chris. I could screw up a one-car funeral on a one-way street at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I you know, God forbid when I try to do something with good intentions, I end up offending someone. So I thought I should come in here and go into the confessional box and, you know, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been like 27 years since my last confession. And, I don't know. My apologies to Marge Spirit Dove. I did not mean to offend her.
I don't think... You know, well, I didn't get offended.
I know you didn't.
A lot of the time... I don't know why, but a lot of the time Marge doesn't get things. Humorous
well, she sure got something when it came to me. She was pissed off at me, so I managed to do that yesterday. But things
that I find very funny and other people find funny. But a lot of the time Marge doesn't get it. I don't know why. It's just how it is, and I think I read your thing. After, because you know, admittedly, I don't always see the YouTube messages. I don't keep an eye on them, but then if something's flagged up by someone else, I'll go and have a look. And I looked at it and I laughed straight away, and I couldn't see the offence in it. I don't see the offence. I don't see the offence. It was meant as something funny. It was taken as something funny. That's it. End of.
Yeah, but like I said, I can screw things up really easy. I mean, I used to work a shift where I was not only working as an announcer, I also had to babysit the radio transmitting equipment.
Yeah.
And I would be isolated off up on top of a mountain all night long.
Right.
You know? So one night when I had finished one of these shifts and I had come back down into the realms of civilization, all the bars are closed, most of the restaurants are, but the police decided they were going to stage one of these sobriety road checks.
Yes.
So here I right into the tail end of this thing, and there's no way I can turn around and go back or avoid it or whatever. And I'm like the 177th car in line, you know. So by the time I got up to the gentlemen with their flashlights and their breathalyzers and all this other stuff, I was not in a very good mood. So I figured, what the hell? They're screwing with me. I'm going to screw with them. So just like they show you on the ads on the TV, where this guy comes up to the sobriety checkpoint and he's like slouched down in his seat, and he's surrounded in beer inside his car and all this other stuff, and he just barely looks at the policeman out the window, you know. And so I figured, what the hell, why not? So I slouched down in my seat. I got my seatbelt on, but I'm slouched down.
Yeah.
And I crank the window down and I look up at this big, tall, huge state trooper, and I just went, "Hi, officer. How you doing?" Well, these guys don't have a sense of humor. Okay,
no,
at all, none, zero.
And, that's it's not something that I what is the word? I don't know what the word is. And if someone doesn't have the same sense of humour, or indeed a sense of humour, that's just the way it is. You know, I just accept that and just don't worry too much about it, really. And I don't think you should worry either. I don't think someone's just asked what was this about. Okay, so let me just tell them. I saw the film Maleficent, Disney's Maleficent this week, which was fantastic, and one of the critics, and I'm not a great fan of critics. I just think they're fouled actors and people like that. They can't act, so they criticise everyone else. But a critic said he didn't like it in a lot more words than that, but he really didn't like it and started pulling it apart. And I went on the same critic page and commented on him, you know, did you see the same film? The film was fantastic. Everyone enjoyed it. Maybe you need to get another critic. So I put that there. And voiceover artist, who we are speaking to at the moment, commented on my comment, "I'm not sure if I trust Mr. Reardon's movie reviews. The last movie Chris told me to see was a 4-hour-long docudrama about a cheap millionaire who lived in a cardboard box under a Walmart loading dock to avoid paying property taxes. Chris's hero." Which I found amusing immediately. But Marge didn't see the funny side of it. And commented herself, and that's what this is about. It is funny. I mean, it really is funny. And then Marge commented, and then voiceover artist wrote, "I'm unable to email Chris. His solicitors, Churnham, Burnham, Spurnham and Geldham, served me with a restraining order." More comedy. More comedy. Once again, Marge didn't get it. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. We've come across this so many times, to be honest, voiceover artists. So many times I've come across this inability or not understanding of the sense of humour that I've kind of, oh well, you know. And then many times I used to try and explain things, why they are funny, but you get to a point where you're just not going to find anything funny, so what can you do? And that's where I am, really. Have you died?
No, I'm here. I'm watching your video at the same time I'm sitting here. I have a recording studio at home, and I've got a big monitor, and I've got mixing equipment and equalization and limiting, compression, a mixer board, and a super expensive turntable that actually has a switch on it that allows me to play records backwards.
Is
so
that
I can
the-
go.
is that-
I can,
Is that the turntable with an instant start? You literally push a button and it's immediately at speed almost.
pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
This and very, very heavy. Oh, this.
What
it
make is
cost
that
me,
one?
It cost me more to have this thing shipped than it did when I bought it. I mean,
Oh yeah. What make is that? Is that
it says Newmark on it.
a Newmark?
Yeah.
Oh okay. Oh,
It's,
that's
and it came. The people that had owned it apparently didn't pay their taxes, and their property got grabbed in a tax lien sale kind of a thing.
oh well.
And
Their loss is your gain, my friend.
well, the reason I was able to purchase it and purchase it very inexpensively.
Yeah.
Notice how carefully I danced around the word cheap. Even had extra cartridges, needles, and,
Yes.
and some of these cartridges and needles are outrageously expensive, and
Oh,
that's
yes,
what this
yes.
thing's got.
Yeah, I
and
can imagine.
it came with a spare set. So I'm like, wow, I know how much this thing would cost even on the used market, but during this tax auction sale, this turntable had been accidentally listed, probably by somebody who didn't know what the Sam Hill it was, in the office supplies section.
Right.
I paid $30 for it.
That's all right, isn't it? It's not bad
It-
at all. You
So,
get stuff
I was
like that.
yeah.
What we call do you have car boot sales there?
Yes, we called them flea markets.
Yeah, you get a lot of stuff from car boot sales.
Yes, at one time I dated a young lady who was collecting all sorts of fancy glassware, and some of that can be very, very expensive, especially if you find something that's a complete set, like a plate to set a cake on, the metal ring thing that goes underneath the plate, and
Yeah,
then
I know. Yeah, with two or three
then
plates.
then the
Yeah.
cover to go over it. Okay,
Yeah.
and if you find all three pieces together at once, you're going to pay a lot of money.
Yes.
But if you find just the metal holder, and then at another sale you find a plate, and then at another sale you find the matching top, you're only going to pay 10 or 15% of what you would have paid if you found it all together in the same sale.
Yeah, good way to do it.
And
Isn't it?
I decided, what the heck? On a whim, I just started buying odd candlesticks because I knew how much complete sets of candlesticks were.
Yes.
So as we traveled all around the hills of Pennsylvania and down into Virginia and heavens knows wherever else, I would look. I carried pictures with me of the candlesticks that I had, so I knew what I was looking for. And over time, I managed to get complete sets of these candlesticks, and they turned out to be worth a lot of money.
Oh yes, yeah. Good. But do you sell stuff on, or are you a bit of a hoarder? Do you hold on to it?
No, I sell stuff on.
You sell it on, okay.
My end game is to make money.
And you do well out of that? Is that enough to keep you going? Or is it
Yeah,
just
every once in a while I sell things on eBay. And when my mother passed on, she had been a hoarder.
Yes.
And after I sorted through the worthless stuff from the stuff that was worth some money, I started putting some items up on eBay. I knew what eBay was. I was used to using it because I used to buy things there. So, I figured, what the heck, I'll try selling some of this stuff. And some of the things, I made a little money from. There were other things that I made some decent money from. But all in all, I ended up, turning a small profit, and I was happy. So it was fun.
Good. But my brother-in-law and nephew are heavy eBay users. They both sell stuff on there. My nephew does lawnmowers. What it is, you're a technical person, so you'll probably know the answer to this straight away. He will buy a petrol lawnmower on eBay that no longer works, usually for a few pounds, maybe £5-10.
And then he takes it home, takes it apart, and fixes it.
Eh? That's right. And you know what he does usually? Go on, do you tell me? Do you know how the 99% of the time, what's wrong with it?
Spark plugs, and sometimes the starter cord will go bad.
No,
and the other thing is, you always need to either sharpen or replace the lawnmower blade.
No, none of those things. Okay, what tends to happen?
Plugged up gasoline.
Yes. What tends to happen is that for the winter, These people put the lawnmowers. I don't even know if I should be telling you all this. People put the lawnmowers away and they tip them on their side. So when they take them back out the shed again, they can't start them because it's flooded, and also the petrol's gone out of date. Now, I didn't know petrol goes out of date.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. So he gets them, he blows out the tube, cleans out the tank, puts new petrol in, and it starts straight away. And that's all he's done. And he will sell on that £10 lawnmower for £80, £90, £100. And he's shifting 4 or 5 a week at the moment.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Here's one that you'll appreciate. I wanted right now I have a 27-inch monitor that was made by ASUS, A-S-U-S, and it was the only monitor in the United States that came with a 3-year parts and labor warranty. All the rest of them were, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. After that, you're on your own. If it quits, too bad. And I was like, granted, I paid more money than I would have for other ones, but it actually has an HDMI port and a
Really?
DVI port and a VGA port, so I can even use it as a television.
Yeah.
But I wanted a larger, screen TV, and over time I managed to meet a lady that runs a second-hand store.
Yes.
Women's and children's clothing and men's, stuff like that.
Right.
And when her large 40-inch TV set quit working, she told me about it, and she says, I found out how much they wanted to fix this, and I said, forget it, I'm just going to buy a new one. So she brought me her original 5-year-old TV and the owner's manual and the remote control and said, here, you can have it. It took me about 18 hours of poking around and replacing some parts and doing one thing and another, and that didn't get it to work, so I went back in a second time and started pulling out circuit boards and looking at them under a microscope, and I discovered that for some reason the solder had started to go bad. It started to corrode and all sorts of stuff. So at the end of 18 hours of poking, prodding, changing some parts and resoldering a bunch of things, I put it back together, crossed my fingers, plugged it in, and it works.
That's fantastic. I mean, generally with stuff, if something breaks down, whether it's electrical or otherwise, I'll open the top, and again, most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, you can visually see something that's gone wrong. Maybe, especially with like, a lot of the stuff is now like a circuit board and lots of bits plugged into the circuit board. One of those plugs has come loose or come out, especially when you're on the road. I've got a couple of few bits and pieces, sound equipment that I take around. Something doesn't work. You open the top and you'll find that a little plug has worked loose. Generally, that's the problem. Or maybe a component's burnt out and you can actually see it with your eyes. Or indeed, like you said yourself, the solder's gone bad. I've seen that before, yeah. Yeah. But I think you probably can fix anything. I get a feeling you could fix anything. If I gave you anything to fix, you'd be able to fix it, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't be bold enough to say 100% of the time I could fix it, but I'm very stubborn, and once I get into something, I'm kind of like a bulldog, I'm not going to give up until I get it fixed.
Oh, well, it's lovely to talk to you after such a long time.
Yes, and like I keep threatening, one of these days I will make it across the pond, and I'm not going to give you any warning. I'm just going to show up at one of your venues. I'll probably bring my own CDs, because when it comes to karaoke, it's been my experience that most of the popular songs were written for men who have yet to go through puberty. And the only way I can sing that high is if somebody's standing behind me with an electric cow prodder.
I know exactly what you mean. My songs tend to be the old ones, Sammy Davis Jr., bit of Sinatra, Tony Bennett type songs. They're the ones I'm better at. I've tried pop songs, I've tried a bit of rap. Doesn't do it for me.
Do you know how rap music came to be called rap music?
No.
It was a scientific experiment. Years and years ago, some military doctors decided they'd conduct this experiment, so they got some volunteers. You know how these guys are.
Yes.
Give me an extra week of leave time, you can do anything you want, right?
Yeah.
So they took three of these guys from the military and strapped them into like dentist chairs.
Yeah.
And put headphones on them and started playing different music. And they discovered that after an hour of listening to this music, that eventually became known as rap music. When they released their test subjects from the chairs, invariably, as soon as they were free to move their arms and legs, they would get into a fight and start beating somebody up. So that's where the term rap came from.
That's where it came, rap.
Yeah, gonna rap you with their knuckles. So.
Well, I'm still here waiting for the phone call from some radio station in any part of the world to come over and take over a show. It's not happened yet, though, unfortunately.
I have, which reminds me, a friend of mine pointed me in the direction of the Canadian broadcasting company. Apparently is looking for someone who has a sophisticated voice who can seduce the female,
sophisticated voice,
mammalian members of the audience. That's one of the things I specialize in. Give me the 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. shift, and I'll have the housewives just.
Do you know
swooning.
what? Do you know what? That's
What?
my favourite shift. 10 to 2. If I was ever offered anything, there's no way I'd want the breakfast. Absolutely no way. The 10 to 2 shift, I think, is the best shift on radio. I really do.
Yes, and I love doing women's lingerie and clothing commercials. You know,
Yeah.
the lady is just, they. Plus, I was never lonely whenever I worked one of those jobs. There was always numerous invitations showing up, and the poor women that in our reception department were constantly taking telephone calls. And I would end the shift, and on my way out, they'd hand me a stack of papers with names and phone numbers, and you're invited to listen to these organizations, and you're invited to this dinner, and one thing. It was great, and. Quite frankly, one of the main reasons that I like to go out and do karaoke is because I never have to worry about buying myself any drinks. I will not drink before I've done my nighttime, singing routine. But after that, yes, I'll have a few. And invariably, when I sing some songs, especially if they're songs that people have requested, I'll get back to where I'm sitting, and there'll be a pile of little plastic chips, which you can trade in for free drinks. So what the heck? I mean, free meals,
Then
free
you go
drinks.
for your drink. All right, well, I might try the Canadian Broadcasting Company myself then.
And I'll leave you with one final thought. I'm just a gigolo, everybody knows. Oh, yeah.
Get out of here. You have a lovely day, all right?
You too.
Nice to talk to you, Wayne. Bye-bye.
And Marge, dear, I do apologize again if I offended you. It was not intentional, but I've hung around with these people from the UK for far too long, and my sense of humor has been seriously warped. And with that, I issue a fond farewell to the millions and millions of people who are watching, listening live to Chris Reardon's United Kingdom Talk.
Tell
And
mate.
please, take your camera and go back out into the woods, that secret little pond lake thing where you used to sit on the ground and film your videos. I'm still waiting to see the Bigfoot of that area pop up behind you in one of your videos. So
I'll go back out there at some point. Yeah, well, I'll do that in the next couple of weeks then. One of the short. Do you see the short videos or not?
yes,
You do. Okay, I'll do one of those from out there in a couple of weeks. Or maybe, no, hopefully next week. Yeah.
And I also should thank the long-suffering Ronny for playing Chris's chauffeur, and getting him out of trouble. And I know that from time to time Chris probably gets swooped up in any number of assorted sting operations, but
Yeah.
Ronnie's there to always bail you out, so that's good.
Okay. See you then.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, sir. Lovely to hear from him there. I haven't heard from him for quite a while there. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, boys and girls, for watching and listening to the show today. Don't forget, you can watch our daily short videos. You can find those at UnitedKingdomTalkTV.co.uk. UnitedKingdomTalkTV.co.uk. The email address, chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk as well. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.